So, for example, you see that this is the login page of SAP portal. SAP is one of the most popular business applications. Probably you know about this application. So, we act like attacker. We're trying to log into this application. So this is the login page. What we will try to do is just to try to log in with a random username and a random password. Oh, come on. Okay, we put the username. It's a nickname of my friend. And we put the password like India123. And of course, authentication is not success, so the password is wrong. So what we can do, we use a special program like burp proxy just to send the HTTP request directly to the server. So what we can do, we can use a vulnerability in SAP portal. The vulnerability is pretty simple but very dangerous. Actually, you see that this request, this request is almost the same like every web browser sends, and the request to the specific administrative interface to create new user in the system. But the only difference between this request and the request that browser sends is we use HTTP method head instead of HTTP method get. So because of the authentication bypass vulnerability, if you send method get, it will ask you to present username and a password. But if you send head method, it will not ask you for anything. So you see that this request, it doesn't have any authentication, username, password, or cookie, or something else. It's just a request. And we're sending like we want to create user in the system with username and the password. So we're just sending this request. And then we're trying to log in again. And we successfully log into the system, but there is no roles associated with this user, so we don't see anything. We just have a username with a password, but we don't see anything. But it's not a problem, actually. We do the second request, which is almost the same, but it adds user to the administrator group because it uses the administrator functionality and user bypass, so we can do everything like create user, assign any role, create operation system command, and etc. So we just assign this user to the role, to the administrator group, send it, and then trying to log in again. And we successfully authenticated as administrator of SAP portal. And okay, and then I go through the presentation. So you can ask how many SAP portals or how many web-based SAP systems are in the internet, and I can say that's pretty much. We did a scan of all the internet, and there are lots of the different systems like CRMs, SRMs, portals, and etc. And I can say that India is one of the biggest users of SAP. It shares like third or fourth place in the world with a number. So you can see the colors so, in India. So it's pretty much systems here. And I was showing only one vulnerability, but this is a number of vulnerabilities that was closed by SAP during the 10 years. So you see that last 3 years, it's a huge number of issues, and most of them can be the same as I presented to you. Okay, so we can say that we don't use the web-based SAP systems, or our system are internal, but there is an application which called SAP Router, and you should use this SAP Router to connect your systems to the SAP to download patches. So we found the vulnerability, the remote access control vulnerability, the heap overflow vulnerability in this SAP router. And that's actually very interesting vulnerability. It was awarded for the Pune Awards in the Black Hat Conference. But it's not the main idea. We tried to scan all the internet to understand how many SAP routers there are, and there's almost 5,000 different SAP routers in the internet. And we tried to figure out how many of them are vulnerable to this issue that we found. And this issue was patched 6 months ago. So patch exists, people are aware, we scan it, and we find out that so the 85% of systems were vulnerable. And the patch was 6 months ago. So it's a pretty big number. If we don't share the information about how to exploit this issue, because if we share it, somebody can use it for the bad things. And the bad things can happen. And the bad things already happen because you can say, of course, okay, we have secured SAP router, we don't have web applications, so all the SAPs are internally. But just about 2 weeks ago, there were news about the new malware, which actually this malware was created it's a banking Trojan. Its name is CISO. So it's pretty famous banking Trojan. It steals banking keys, passwords, and they have a VNC functionality. But the latest version of this Trojan have the functionality to look if there is an SAP installed on the system. Nothing else, but it's just the first step, which probably can lead to the different attacks to SAP systems. Because before that, the hackers who were interested in banking sector were not interested in SAP, but now they are looking for SAP installations. They probably will use this information to sell it to somebody. Probably they're waiting to upload the new malware if many systems will be infected. So, and you understand that all those vulnerabilities can lead to espionage, sabotage, and fraud in the system. So what we have now, there are 3 different areas in SAP security. One you already know, and it's a business logic and access control, and it's something more or less good. Another is a BAP source code security, but in the application platform security, people don't understand. They have lots of issues, but the question is how to deal with them. And there are different types of compliances, like specific guidelines for SAP, different guidelines like for overall specific web application guidelines, but there is no something like OWASP for business applications. So our goal was to create the EISSEC. I will skip those things, it's just a description of the other types of compliance. So EISSEC is it's a framework for analyzing business applications, and all the current frameworks have disadvantages because they are either very big or either very small. So if they're small, you think that they are full, but they're not full. So our goal was to create the framework which addresses all problems, but at the beginning it focused only on the specific problems. So it's 9 areas and 33 most critical checks, but for every area we have things like what's next. So you have a list of most critical issues in every area, and you have a list what's next, so what to do next. So that's how you understand what to do at first to cover, rule 20% and 80%. So you can spend few time to cover only the most critical issues, and then you can go through the other issues. All the categories, they categorized by 4 criteria. It's access, criticality, easy to exploit, and popularity. So you can see that the lack of patch management is the most critical area because it can be exploited anonymously. User can get the highest access. It's very easy, and it's very popular, so most of the systems have those problems. If this vulnerability is popular, attacker will use it because they want to use the most popular vulnerabilities. So you see this list of the 9 areas. They cover everything in business application security. So this list is not related only to SAP. It's a overall list. It can be mapped to any of the business applications. So our first step was to create the guideline, which is specifically for the SAP, and put the 33 most critical issues into those areas. So it's a list of all issues, but you can find it on the internet, and this standard is almost published. So our next steps is to release the same guidelines for the other business applications and rebuild the website and spread this initiative to the world. So maybe we can find other contributors that can do the same thing for the other business applications, because we are most focused on the SAP, a little bit of Oracle, but there are many other business applications, and we want to share this project for everybody. I don't know if we have a time. We don't have a time, but thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.